Hi everyone, and welcome to your reading. I am the Holly Empress, and today I will be asking Spirit for loving/healing message from the universe. We have two piles as an option for you, and you can pick between these two. Axolotl. That's the correct pronunciation. Axolotl is the colonizing way of saying it because it is a Nahuatl word, and Nahuatl is an indigenous Mexican and southern United States language. So, it's good to try to pronounce things the correct way, even if it's not perfect. Even if I'm saying axolotl slightly wrong, it's still closer than axolotl, which is like nothing. So don't call it that. It's an axolotl. So you can pick between two of them. This black one will be group number 1, and I will be using the Eternal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck by Matt Hughes. And then there is the white and pink and red one, and for that one I will be using the Star Spinner Tarot by Trungles. I'm gonna put in some inserts of a picture so that you can see them closer up, as I also tell you a little bit more about the axolotl and why I picked this animal to be what you're picking today, besides just the fact that these are cute pins that I found online. So they are named after the Aztec god Xolotl, which is the god of death and regeneration, I believe. We are not going to be really calling on the spiritual qualities of the axolotl because that's not really part of my spiritual practice, and I don't know much about Aztec religion. I just wanted to let you know that it is named after this god, but I do not know much about the god. But now more about the animal itself. The axolotl has regenerative qualities, so it can heal really well even from traumas that would be deadly to other lizards and amphibians. It's an amphibian. It's a type of water salamander that never evolved past its larvae state. So the lessons that we can learn from that is, one, by just respecting our body, it can heal things or traumas that we thought to be, fully broken, totally lost. And also, since it refuses to grow past its larvae stage, but it still reaches sexual maturity and is able to be a full animal and reproduce and everything, that is called being a neotenic animal. And what we can learn from that is that sometimes the only way that we can heal is by refusing to grow in the ways that others expect of us, So don't sacrifice your youthful exuberance for the sake of growing up. That's why I picked them for this reading that's going to be all about healing and a loving message from the universe. The main thing is going to be a loving message, but I feel like love is always healing, so I think that also applies. Timestamps will be down below as always. Like I said, black one is group 1, the white and pink one is group 2. I will see you in your reading. Hi everyone, and welcome to your reading if you've picked the black axolotl. We are going to start your reading by pulling a card from this oracle deck that's called Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection by Mike Dooley. This is one of my favorite decks, and as you can tell by the title, it is always loving messages. So that's why we are starting with that. I'm going to get either 1 or 2 cards, depending on what comes. So yeah. All right. Okay. So your 2 messages are keep it simple and prepare to be astounded. I'm going to read the keep it simple because there's a message in the back too. Keep it simple says, old souls use words very sparingly, except of course for I, love, thank, you, wow, now, and cool. Wow, I love you, now, the universe. P.S., which sounds much better than wow, now I love you. Sequence is important. Okay, so I think what this tells me that the first thing that you're healing from is overthinking. I think overthinking is something that a lot of us suffer from because it's hard not to, because, you know, I feel like we come into this world and our parents or whatever tell us that we can control the world through our actions mainly, you know, and then we are like taught about like responsibilities for our actions and thinking things through before we do them, but which like sounds good in theory, right? But I feel like in practice just ends up meaning that a lot of us are paralyzed by overthinking and considering all the possible avenues and trying to figure things out with our minds instead of with our heart or with our energetic vibration, you know. So some of you are healing from that, are healing from a tendency to overthink to the point that it is harmful from you. And then prepare to be astounded. Send them love, wish them peace, see them happy. Everyone, always, forever. And prepare to be astounded, the universe. P.S. Oh man, and will you ever become a big time manifester? I think for some of you, this might mean that there is someone who hurt you and you're healing from that. That's what the send them love, wish them peace, see them happy made me think of at first. So that could be you. If that's not you, I think that you are a person that is healing from not believing in yourself enough, not preparing yourself to be astounded enough, you know, not believing that you really are going to become a big time manifester and really be astounded just by being loving and peaceful and happy, you know, and you're healing from that mindset of kind of similar to the first one of like you have to accomplish things with your action and with your mind. No, you're realizing that you can create and do so much just with love, peace, and happiness, you know? Send them love, wish them peace, see them happy, everyone, always, forever, and prepare to be astounded, the universe. So these are your first two cards. We are now going to go in with the tarot. And we're going to pull 2 cards for each card to clarify, for a total of 4 cards, just to kind of go deeper into these messages that we've already addressed. Down and down. Okay, so we have the 3 and 4 of Pentacles. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, keep it simple. 3 and then 4, very straightforward. Funny cards to get. Sorry, I'm laughing. I don't mean it in a negative way, of course. So these are your clarifiers for keep it simple. Was this the one that had the send them love? No, this was the old souls one. Sequence is important is the last 2 lines here, and then we have 3 and 4 here. Like, we get it, universe. You think you're funny. And you are, but anyway, you're a person that, with the 3 of Pentacles, you are a person that felt like they needed to not keep it simple, to keep it complex, to either impress others or to meet their expectations or to help them or to be their like cornerstone, you know. The 3 of Pentacles is a lot about collaboration. You can see that in this picture, it's 3 men or people, I don't know that they're necessarily men, with a map, and they're planning how to like build something, right? So you felt like if you kept it simple, other people might look down on you or might not think that you were that competent. So you felt like to shine at work or in your friend group or in your like hobbies and projects, you felt like you had to talk a lot and like show a lot of progress and always be reporting back on what you were doing and stuff. But that didn't really serve you because you were too focused on the other and not focused enough on yourself. And that led you to feel insecure, and to deal with that insecurity, you clung to the material, you know? Maybe this strategy of like being the smartest in the room and like really trying to always show up, always be there, always be anticipating everyone's needs, you know? Maybe that made you money, but that didn't make you feel secure because it felt like it could crumble away at any point, because when you're acting like that, you're at the mercy of others, right? When you're always acting in function of what the other wants, you are kind of at their mercy, and they can pull the rug out from under you at any time. And that's why you have this Four of Pentacles with this woman like clinging to the material. You know, you're just, okay, this might be not great, but you know, I'm making money, I got my money, you know, like the way that this girl is like holding the coin close to her body, you know. So yeah, you're healing from this over attachment to the material that came from overthinking, especially in collaborating with other people. Now we're gonna get 2 cards to clarify the prepare to be astounded. I really don't want to pull another one. I don't. This one? No, it's just that one. I'm sorry. I know I said I was going to get 2 and then I changed my mind because I'm a liar. But also I had a thought while I was shuffling for that. This also says, this is also clarifying that as you keep it simple, you will be able to achieve through stability, a stability that rests on your own security, like the Queen of Pentacles too, rather than a stability that is dependent on others, you know. So keeping it simple, learning to keep it simple, healing enough that you can keep it simple will bring you the stability that you so craved / crave, present tense. Prepared to be astounded, the Queen of Pentacles. You know, the Queen of Pentacles, definitely a big time manifester, like keep it simple said, but also someone who is very nurturing, you know, with the send them love, wish them peace, see them happy, you know. Oh, the big time manifester is from this card. It's not from this card. Sorry, I keep mixing them up. But yeah, so yeah, prepare. Oh man, and will you ever become a big time manifester? The King of Pentacles is very much a big time manifester. Pentacles is all about the material, and considering all of your background cards were Pentacles, that tells me that a big part of what you're healing from is this over attachment to the material or difficulty in manifesting in the material, you know. And the Queen of Pentacles is someone who's very nurturing, who's very healing, and who's very good at manifesting things in the material, but who isn't like controlled by them, you know. And she's, as the Queen of Pentacles, is someone that is very nurturing but also fiercely independent to me, you know. She's someone who like manages her own business, manages her home like household finances, you know. However much is coming in, however much is going out, she makes it work, you know. She budgets, she takes money from here and puts it here and makes it work, you know. And maybe this is something that's been difficult for you before. You never thought you could be someone like the Queen of Pentacles, who's just on top of her stuff, regardless of what is going on around her, regardless of what the material reality is. But prepare to be astounded, because you are. Yeah, the Queen of Pentacles is someone that can feel secure and materially grounded regardless of what her circumstances are, and that eventually leads to the circumstances changing and the coin coming in. And let's compare and contrast the way that these two people are holding the coin, you know. I think this is a much more nurturing touch, just kind of like resting her hand on top of it. And in this one, she is kind of like playing with it and like tracing the star, right? But it's much more sad, you know, even if you just like look at her expression versus hers expressions, you know. She's worried, she's not, you know. She just has this casually on her lap, but she's sure that it won't fall away because she has her grip on it, but she doesn't need to clutch it with both hands to keep it, you know. So yeah, that's your background and what you are coming towards. You are coming towards being this Queen of Pentacles. And now we are going to pull 2 or 3 cards from the Sacred Traveler Oracle cards to get you some advice to help you continue this path of healing. You know, everything I've said thus far has already been very positive, and if that's already all like resonated and you're like, yeah, I have been doing all these things, yay, then yeah, continue doing that. But if you feel like you're more in this 4 of Pentacles, or if you feel like you're still in that overthinking mentality, this is some advice that will help you get out of that overthinking mentality and into this secure, knowing, rested mentality, you know? Some advice to help us keep it simple and to help us prepare to be astounded. This one? Okay, I'm not sure about that one. I'm actually gonna put it back. I don't want it anymore. Change my mind. I'm gonna take this one instead. No. Maybe just those two. Is that the problem? Alright. First card, choosing your path, all is possible. Whoa. Sorry about that. We're gonna read them like all together. I'm not gonna interpret them one by one necessarily, though I'm sure I'll end up doing that too. View from above, get the big picture. Impasse, reflect and redirect your energy. So the advice from the impasse card for me is always like, don't take action until you're sure that you're ready to take action. So with this, keep it simple. Doesn't mean don't think about it at all. Just go, just act even though you're not sure, or just act even though you're not, you feel like you haven't thought it through. You know, it doesn't mean that. It just means think it through in a simple way, you know? But it doesn't mean rush into action even when you don't feel ready. You know, it's like with the view from above as well, it's like instead of overthinking it from the perspective of the minutia and the nitty-gritty, you know, like, oh, I have a meeting at 7 and then I have to deliver this thing at 8:30, and in between that time I gotta get like all these 4 things done, so I gotta like, okay, at 7:15 I'll do this, at 7:30 I'll do this, at 7:45 I'll do this, and at 8:30, and then I'll leave at 8 so that I can be there at 8:30. Like, that's not what we're looking for here, you know? That's not viewed from above, you know? That's really in the trenches, nitty gritty, keeping it complicated, really. So what this advice is think about it from a higher perspective, you know? Like, in that example of you have those things to get done between 7 and 8:30, just think about it like, okay, in the grander scheme of things, if I don't get those 4 things done, it won't be the end of the world. I will simply go with the flow of what presents itself, and whatever is most important will present itself and it will get done, you know? So yeah, it's about having that sort of broader perspective and focusing more on long-term gains rather than short-term problems, you know? And with all is possible, I think it's similar to the prepare to be astounded message of just like, you know, you can be a big time manifestor, so dream big, you know, all is possible. All of this, well, not all of this, but I feel like these 2 cards, they kind of come together with the idea that like, imagine when you're looking at a map and you're planning a trip, right? When you're looking at it from the map, it's like not even that far, you know? If you look at Columbus, Ohio, NYC, It's 8 hours. You just like cross Pennsylvania and you're basically there. You know, it's not that much. Looking at it from above, it doesn't seem that complicated, you know? And when you have that view from above, you see that all is possible. You see that, oh, I can take this path to New York, or I could even take this other path to New York. I can see it here on the map that it's like very straightforward, or I can even choose to go somewhere else. All is possible, you know? So instead of planning each turn that you're going to take on your Columbus to New York trip, I know that these days Google Maps does that for us, but just pretend that Google Maps doesn't exist for this purposes, you know? If you're planning a trip without Google Maps, you would know like, okay, I'm gonna take the 81, sorry. I'm gonna take the 81 west, and then I'm gonna switch to the 80 west, and then I'm gonna like get off at exit 105 to get on the George Washington Bridge, and then I'm in New York. You know, keep it simple. 2 to 3 steps at most. You don't need all the little steps. Again, with the agenda thing, you don't need to plan every 15 minutes. You know, just plan at 7 I have this thing, at 8:30 I have this thing, and whatever gets done in the middle will get done, and whatever doesn't get done, it's not the end of the world, because when you look at it from farther away, when you look at it, the big picture, the little dropping 1 or 2 things doesn't matter. What matters is all of it. It's the ensemble. So kind of to bring it all together, your advice is do not move until you feel that you're ready. Make your plans broad and general with a view from above to keep it simple rather than detailed and complicated. And remember that all is possible. When you're choosing your path, all is possible. So that's your advice. I hope this reading was helpful to you. I hope that you were able to get some loving and healing messages from the universe in it. I personally felt that it resonated for some areas of my life, and it had pretty good internal consistency. So I feel like hopefully you were able to get a good message out of it. Remember to like, to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Hi everyone, welcome to your reading if you picked the pink and red and white Axolotl. We're gonna start by pulling 2 cards, 1 or 2 cards from this Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection Oracle deck by Mike Dooley. Well, it just calls it a card deck, but you know, we're using it as an oracle deck. So yeah, these cards, as you can tell by the title, are all very loving, and that's why I thought they would be good to be your starting point in this reading about healing and regeneration. So yeah, we're gonna pull 1 to 2 cards with a loving / healing message from the universe. Okay, I'm gonna take these 2. I almost took this, but I didn't. I changed my mind last minute. Your treasure is at hand, but we'll keep it. Prepared to be Astounded is the same one that group 1 got, so I'll actually switch it out for this one that I almost got. But I'll read it too. It says, "Prepare to be astounded. Send them love, wish them peace, see them happy. Everyone, always, forever. And prepare to be astounded, the universe. P.S. Oh man, and will you ever become a big-time manifester?" So this is about healing from the fear that you cannot accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. But we are just gonna use these 2 as our main messages, just to keep it different. And I was gonna pick this one anyway, if you like saw the shuffling, so it's all good. So first, you know what to do. In all battles of the heart over the mind, go with your heart. Because truly, it's a lot easier for your mind to catch up with your heart than for your heart to catch up with your mind. A whole lot. Not that I don't love your mind, the universe. So you are healing from doubt, you are healing from uncertainty, you are healing from the fear that you are making unwise decisions, that you're making decisions from your heart in a quote-unquote childish way versus not doing it from your mind in a quote-unquote mature way. But what do we learn from the Axolotl? That doing things in the ways that is right for you is what's important, regardless if other people are gonna say, you're still in your larva stage. Oh my God, I can't believe that. They live a full and happy life, never leaving the larva stage. So what that means is always go with your heart, even if that feels quote unquote childish, and you're healing from that sort of need to always be rational, that pressure to always have like a perfect rational reason to do something. Sometimes like I felt like it is a good reason, you know. Sometimes like I had a bad feeling so I left is a great reason to leave a place. You had a bad feeling, leave. I totally feel that way. So yes, you're healing from doubt and you are healing from the pressure to always make the most rational, most correct decision. Then your treasure is at hand. Sure, you can always find prettier, handsomer, wiser, richer, younger, zippier, but more often than not, one learns the most, laughs the loudest, and smiles the widest with those that they've already found, especially when they stop looking elsewhere. Actually, zippier is on quite a few lists. Tally ho, the universe. Okay. So what this means is, like the first line, sure, you can always find pretty, handsomer, wiser, richer, younger, or zippier. It's that sort of feeling of like the grass is always greener on the other side, you know, like, oh, maybe if I was younger, or if I was smarter, or if maybe I was dating someone younger or smarter, or if I had been born to better parents or to smarter parents or to richer parents, you know, my life would be different. But you're going to learn the most with the experience that you've already had. You know, I personally believe that each of us chooses what environment we will incarnate into, you know, before we become meaty bodies. Sorry. So I would never tell someone else you were born in a certain environment for a reason, you know, because I feel like we all make our own experiences, and just because I believe that doesn't mean that that is true for someone else, you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to say that, you know, if you were born in a really crappy situation, that's all you can have, or that it was good that it happened that way, you know? But I do believe that we all pick how we come into this world, you know? And as an adult, it can be easier to see the ways in which a tough or traumatizing environment as a child taught you a lot, even though you don't need trauma to learn. You know, this isn't the only way to learn, but it probably did teach you something, you know? So I think you're healing from needing your experiences to be different, to be happy, you know? Like, I feel like this group, there's a lot of people watching who have some like deep trauma, and I in no way want to dismiss or minimize that. But like I was saying at the beginning too, the axolotl, that's what it's about. It's about going through deep trauma. And the axolotl not only heals, not only survives, but it heals unscarred. Like it doesn't scar because it's basically still a baby, you know? So it's not actually a baby. I mean, I don't know. Maybe calling it a baby is anthropomorphizing it too much, but you know what I'm saying. It basically doesn't scar. So I think that you are in the process of healing from some like really deep trauma. And I think one of those steps is just, you know, accepting that it happened and that it maybe changed the person that you are, but you can still laugh loud, smile wide, and learn deeply. You know, it hurt you, but it didn't break you. you know? And the stop looking elsewhere, as you can see, it's like kind of bolded in this card, you know? So it's like, it really jumped out at me. So with what I'm saying is like, stop. You are learning to stop wishing that, like, oh, I wish this hadn't happened to me. I wish I had led the life that that person has led that has been so easy and so whatever, you know, but they might not have access to the happiness that you have access to, or to the growth that you have access to. You know, the way you are is perfect, you know? Stop looking elsewhere for perfection. You know what I mean? Your treasure is at hand, at your hand. And if you put your head on your chest, this is your treasure, yourself, right here. It's you. You're your treasure. You are a treasure, regardless of everything. Regardless if you're not pretty enough, or handsome enough, or wise enough, or rich enough, or young enough, or unmarred enough, untraumatized enough, you know, because you're your treasure. Okay? So that's the healing that you're experiencing. I am going to pull some tarot now to clarify both of these cards. You're just full of extra cards today, you know? This wasn't the one I was reaching for, but this flipped out, so I'll give you a quick interpretation of it. It is the 5 of Coins. As you can see, it's a woman, and there's a broken mirror. And this is often symbolizes poverty. It often symbolizes poverty reversed. It can symbolize like emotional and spiritual poverty, you know? So I think this is kind of what you're leaving behind and healing from. You can see that there's a child holding a pentacle, like really sadly. Can you see that? Is it focused? So you can see that there's that child there, just sadly holding a pentacle, and with this woman sort of trying to shield him, but not even like really touching him, you know? So yeah, and with the broken mirror here also symbolizes kind of like broken family, broken feelings, broken hearts. So I think this is just a confirmation of what I said earlier. I feel like this is a group that a lot of people watching, you know, kind of as intended, you know, because this is a reading about healing from trauma, you know. A lot of you watching might have trauma. Oh, look at what was at the bottom, 42. I thought it was going to be the 5 of Pentacles, which is why I pulled it up. But despite this trauma, you had the strength to get past it. You had your inner lion that whatever happened, whatever pain that you went through, whatever broken family, broken whatever you went through, you had this lion inside of you, and it kept you safe, okay? It kept the core of you safe, the kernel of you safe, the treasure of you safe, okay? So let's see what's here for the clarifiers. Yeah. So the 7 of Swords. For me, this is about healing from that feeling of not being sure what to do. You do know what to do. The 7 of Swords, as you see here, he goes kind of like a thief in the night, right? Stealing these swords away. And you maybe feared that you were like that you were kind of a sneaky, manipulative person who doesn't know how to act by the light of day, who doesn't know how to act in the sunlight. This is the sun card, if you can't tell, which is why I'm holding it up as I talk about the sunlight. But yeah, you're healing from feeling like this dude. You know, the 7 of Swords can be literally mean being sneaky, and you know, in relationship readings it can sometimes mean like cheating and going behind someone's back. But for me, so like if you've literally done that, you're kind of like healing from having done that, you know, because I feel like when we hurt someone else, we always hurt ourselves, you know. So you are learning to kind of leave that in the past, you know, and realize that even though at one point you acted in ways that weren't in alignment with your highest good, that doesn't mean that you forgot how it feels to act in alignment with your highest good. You still know what to do, even if in the past you behaved in ways that weren't good for you, you know? And if you haven't done something like that, something like sneaky and cheating sort of things, this is about that feeling sneaky. You know, do you ever feel like you're tricking your friends into loving you? It's that sort of feeling, you know, like you're not tricking your friends into love you. Your friends just love you because of who you are, and you are learning to let go of that feeling, that learning that you are a treasure, and learning that you don't have to sneak around for people's love, you know? You don't have to, where'd it go? You don't have to sneak around for people's loves. You do not have to trick people into love you. You are inherently lovable, and this is what you're learning. Here with the sun, I think it means both. I think it means a lot of things, sorry. It's just a lot of thoughts racing through my head right now. So with the you know what to do you see how the sun is kind of moving in a very decisive way? Kind of like, if you imagine the sun above us, right? Almost coming into earth and taking action. So you're this sun, right? You now know what to do to achieve your highest happiness, because the sun is also about happiness. You know, the sun gives us warmth, the sun gives us beaches, not really, but you know, the beaches are fun because of the sun. The sun is all about happiness, it's all about success. So you are feeling more able to take success into your own hands because you know what to do. And you're feeling more able to, you know, come down to earth and take action and know that this action is for your highest good. In addition to that, with the sun being about happiness and success, you are also learning to prioritize your happiness, and you are also seeing the treasure that you are. I know I've already said that a few times, but I really wanted to, you know, I really want to emphasize that you're a treasure. But like I was saying, when we saw the Fortitude card, even when you were going through the darkest times, you know, there was a lion inside of you. And the lion, Leo, correlates with the sun, right? And it's like this lion is coming out into the sunlight for everyone to see. You are owning your happiness. You are being your happiness. You are being courageous. You are fearlessly prioritizing your own happiness. And that's so important, you know? And we've just had a new moon in Leo, so you're in line with the planets too, you know, because that's what the new moon in Leo was all about, you know, just prioritizing your happiness and being more courageous in the way that you show that happiness. So yeah, that's what I have for the sun. And the sun, in contrast with the moon's about like things that happen in the night, you know, things that you know through your intuition, but that aren't super clear because it's dark and it's nighttime. The sun, it's things that are like blindingly obvious because there's the light of the sun shining down upon it, and it's so clear and it's so beautiful and it's full of happiness, and you're healing to come into this place. Finally, you have the Ten of Cups. Okay, so I'm so sorry about that, but your reading cut out halfway through because my phone died. That is my bad. I'd already finished the reading before I realized that my phone died with like the last cards that we're gonna pull, but I already shuffled them back in, and we're just gonna take it as a sign that, you know, if the phone died, then that message wasn't meant to be, and we're just gonna pull those cards again. And you know, if it's meant to be those same cards, those will come out, and if it's not, different ones will come out. Excuse the slight glitch, and if the framing is a little bit different, I am sorry about that. I stopped as I was talking about this 10 of cups, right? This 10 of cups for me just represents just like sheer marital bliss, you know? Just as you can see in this picture, you know, it's a woman in a wedding dress getting married to someone in a suit. So it's very much about, you know, marital love. So if you are either married or in a serious committed relationship, I think this card here is telling us that there's going to be healing and like powered up love coming into this connection, you know, because as you heal yourself, you also heal your connections, you know. And if you're not in a married or committed relationship, this can also be about your friends, you know. Remember how earlier with the Seven of Swords I was talking about that feeling of like having to trick your friends into loving you, and this card is about healing from that, because the 10 of Cups, it's about like marriage and stuff, but it's also about family, you know. So it's about family, whether that be chosen or a family that you're born into. And it's about seeing your friends as your family, seeing the people that have been there through thick and thin, you know, as your family, and as people with whom it's safe to be vulnerable, you know. Like the 10 of Cups, because when you are hiding yourself and when you're trying to just be the version of yourself that is like lovable, you know, you don't get a connection as deep. You don't get a love as deep as you do in the 10 of Cups, because the 10 of Cups is about being honestly yourself and being loved because of it. You know, being loved because you're brave and strong enough to show your vulnerability and be with someone fully, being brave and courageous enough to be with the people that you love, to be yourself fully. I'm pretty sure I already talked about the Sun and the Seven of Swords. I don't think there was anything else I needed to get there, so we are going to move on to the last part of the reading, and we're going to get you some advice. So please, Spirit, for this group, some advice to help them see the treasure that they are, and to help them not doubt and realize that they know what to do. Some advice to help them appreciate where they are, see the treasure that they are, and not doubt that they know what to do. Okay. So you have wandering path, enjoy the journey. View from above, get the big picture. And last but not least, stepping into power, you are strong beyond measure. So the advice of this card is similar to what I was saying earlier when we were looking at the strength card. You know, you are strong beyond measure. There is a strength within you that has always been there, even through the hardest times of your life. And maybe you weren't able to step into that power and to like show that strength and to let it shine bright like the sun. And maybe in the past you weren't able to, but now you are becoming able to. You're becoming able to step into your power and to realize how strong you are. View from above, get the big picture. So this is like when you're thinking about things in your life that have gone wrong, try to see it kind of farther away, you know, not so much remembering being in that place and the nitty-gritty of what that felt like and how painful it was and how hard it was and how hard you had to work to get out of there. Instead of thinking about those kind of nitty-gritty in the moment feelings, try to think about it from the perspective of a higher plan. You know, I don't know if you believe in fate, if you believe in a higher plan, but regardless, when we look at something that has hurt us from a long, like a But regardless, when we look at something that has hurt us from a farther away distance, from like up above, that takes away its power to hurt us a little bit, you know. And it's kind of like I was saying before here, whatever trauma that you have gone through, I'm sure that it has also taught you lessons, you know. And maybe that wasn't the easiest way to get lessons, maybe that wasn't the most pleasant way to get lessons, but try to see the ways in which whatever has hurt you has also prepared you. You know what I'm saying? Not that the only way to learn or the only way to be prepared is to be hurt, and eventually you do need to get to a place where you can like heal. But you know, sometimes things are unpleasant and things hurt and we suffer. And I don't want to tell you that everything happens for a reason, because I feel like that hurts more to hear, at least in my opinion. But rather, and especially since often trauma and pain can feel so senseless, right? It can feel so out of the blue. It can feel like it makes no sense. But regardless of whether it makes sense or not, that pain, that suffering taught you something, you know, and you are stronger because of it, you know. And I'm not saying that makes it worth it. I'm not saying that makes it okay. I'm just saying that it would be helpful for you in your healing journey, in my opinion, if you are able to see the ways in which your pain has a role in the mosaic of your life. You know, I don't know if you guys have seen that Tumblr post that's like a woman breaks her leg and then she's sitting at a train station and she sits next to someone else and they're like, oh wow, you broke your leg, and you're like, yeah. And then this person says to them, this pain will have its place, you know. And the Tumblr post talk about how that person found that comforting, because it's not like saying everything happens for a reason, and it's not like saying, you know, it will be okay when it's not right now, you know. Like right now, yes, it hurts, but this pain will have its place, you know. You will be able to fit it into the overall quilt of your life, you know, to give it whatever it is that it needed to give you, you know what I mean? So when you look at it from above, you are able to see the place that that had in your life. So that's your second piece of advice. Your third and final piece of advice is wandering path, enjoy the journey. Healing is not linear. Healing is not linear. It's not like, you know, one day you've healed 0%, and then the next day you've healed 5%, and then the next day you healed 10%, and the next day you heal 15%, and so on and so forth. It's more like, okay, today I'm feeling 50% healed. Tomorrow I might be at 25, and the day after I might be at 75, you know? So it's not gonna necessarily be a progression of feeling increasingly better each day. But as you wander around and enjoy the journey of rediscovering your happiness and opening your true self up to the people that love you, you will gain so much more than if you just like try to go for a straight shot, like straight to the 100% healed, you know what I'm saying? So don't hold yourself to always healing in the most efficient way, in the most logical way, in the most direct path. You know what I'm saying? Taking the meandering path, even though it might seem like you're unhealing or you're like you're just going on a tangent, you know, if it feels right in your heart, go with your heart. Because you know what to do in your heart, you know what I mean? And lastly, with wandering path, I think the way that it ties into this view from above thing is like, yes, you chose a wandering path with pain, but you saw things that you wouldn't have otherwise seen if you had chosen the more direct path. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Just to like tie it all together, your advice so that you can continue to feel the love of the universe and continue to heal like the Axolotl, is don't be so focused on a destination. Don't be so focused on getting to a point of being 100% healed. Just enjoy the path towards healing and towards your happiness. Try to, when you look at the past, not to be sucked into it, and rather look at it from the perspective that you have now that you are farther from that place. And lastly, you are strong beyond measure, and don't forget it. Don't you forget it. So yeah, that was your reading, group 2. I hope it was helpful. I apologize again for that interruption. That is totally my bad. I hope that it still sort of makes sense. You know, I did watch the last bit of what was recorded to try to give it some sort of coherence and flow, and hopefully that worked. If you didn't, and if you felt like anything was badly explained, that's probably because I explained it in the last one and then forget it. So leave me a comment down in the comments and I will explain it to you if I have time and if I see it. So yeah, this is your reading. I found it enjoyable and helpful, and I thought there was a good amount of internal consistency and building on itself, which is always pleasing to me, and I hope pleasing to you as well. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.